Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZozoStockWatch.com, and this is your Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead, March 12th through the 16th. What a week it was. We had Gary Cohn's resignation from the Trump administration that started out the week. We had the tariffs that were going on this week, and we also had North Korea on the table. We had the jobs number that was on the table this week. So let's go ahead and get into it and talk about what passed this week ahead, how the markets did, and let's look ahead for and see what the markets have coming up for the week ahead. We had the Cohen resignation. We had Canada and Mexico on edge because of Donald Trump's tariffs. We had the payroll numbers that were due out on Friday. Well, those payroll numbers came out on Friday and they were plus 313K, and wage inflation slowing down. There's less worry about interest rate hikes, as the Fed most likely will have to raise rates 3 times and not 4 times in the coming year. Inflation is rising, but at a reasonable pace. The wage growth from January was revived down. As you can see here, we had the labor force increase since 2000, the biggest labor force increase since 2003, as many Americans finally get back to work. So that's a very positive things for the economy and the markets. We also had a little bit of a conclusion to the Trump steel and aluminum tariffs for an undetermined period. Canada and Mexico got their relief. So they will not be hit with tariffs. We also had another positive thing, nuclear talks. North Korea asked for direct nuclear talks with Trump, and those are going to begin in May, this courtesy of the New York Times. So some good positive things that came up in the market this week. As the market on Friday, the Dow Jones was up 440 points, up 3% for the week. The Nasdaq was up 132 points on Friday, up 4% for the week. The S&P 500 was plus 47 points, plus 3% for the week. The XBI, the mid-cap biotechs, was up 5% for the week. IBB up 4% for the week. IWM up 4% for the week. The IWC, which is the micro caps, was up 4% for the week. Banking sector, XLF, up 4% for the week. And the semiconductors, the SMH, up 5% for the week. We also had a buy. We had Cigna to buy Express Scripts for $52 billion in a big healthcare deal. And then this story that kind of went under the radar this week, Amazon, Google, and others are developing a private air traffic control for drones. So that courtesy of the Wall Street Journal. So air traffic control for drones with Amazon and Google and others developing that. We did have a conclusion to Martin Shkreli going away. He got 7 years in prison. But Bloomberg writes an article here about, but the drug pricing problem isn't going away. Drugs are still very expensive for folks, and Martin Shkreli going away and going to jail is not going to relieve Americans of the high cost of medicines. So more to be done on that, and be aware. If you're in some biotech stocks, waiting for Trump to speak about the high prices of drugs. He's moved down the IBB and the XBI before on comments, so that could happen again. Let's go ahead and get into it. We'll talk about the markets a little bit. We'll look at some charts. We'll look at the daily on the SPY. We'll look at the weekly, and we'll also look at the USO and some other markets. First up, let's look at the SPY and see, how the week was here with the SPY. After that 3 days down in the SPY, and then we started to turn the corner back last Friday, the 2nd of March. We started to turn the corner on the 2nd of March, and then we started moving up and finally propelled ourselves over the 50 SMA here. Now, we still have this high back here that we need to breach. We have a high of 278.92, and the market's closed right at 278.87 for the SPY. So we still have that high to get through on the 27th of February, and that was only a few short weeks ago. But the positives here for the bulls, we are above the 50 SMA. We are above all the fast moving averages. Let's go ahead and look at the weekly chart on the SPY. And you can see here, see it more clearly. Last week we did get up to, that 278.92 spot, and this week we got up to 278.87. So that's going to be closely watched. So that 280 area looks pretty important now for the SPY. That's the next phase for the bulls to get through. If we had this kind of breakdown here around that 280 area, the market was holding above the 13 EMA here on the SPY. That was back in the beginning of February. Then we went through that big sell-off. Well, that all started when we broke down below this 280 spot. So let's see if we can get back up. Price has memory. You might have some sellers up here that want to just get out, break even. So keep your eye on that in the SPY. Let's go ahead and go through some other markets. IWM, very strong for this week, up 4%. Nice move. They were actually leading us up this week. They stayed very strong. Didn't get the pullbacks that the SPY had gotten. IWC, the micro caps, big positive move up here. Maybe a little bit overbought now as the RSI is coming close to 70 now on this big move up. So we'll keep that on watch. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the Dow Jones 30, still showing, but that remains right around the 50 SMA itself. Also making a nice move up here. New record highs here, I believe, on the NASDAQ. Yep, new record highs here as we look at the weekly on the NASDAQ. So nice record close here for the tech stocks, such names as Amazon and Google. Netflix had a very big week and big Friday. Facebook recovering nicely. Apple moving up nicely. Apple up near that 180 spot again on that name. So a lot of nice moves in the tech stocks. Nvidia making a nice move in the semis. Looks like it's getting ready to maybe take out, that 248 area and then maybe up through that 250 spot for Nvidia. So some very nice moves. And like I said, the SMH was very strong. Big move here in the SMH as that moves up to new record highs as Intel and AVGO and Qualcomm, all the leaders in the semis moving up nicely. Micron had a very nice week this week, powering up. Let's look at it on the weekly. Yeah, new highs here on MU. So we'll get more into that in a little bit. Some other markets we'll look at on the daily chart. We'll look at some sectors. The XLF had a nice pop over the 50 SMA. Banks are turning back up. So nice move there. We also had oil trying to recover now and make a nice move off the get up over the 50 SMA and trying to get up over the 10 SMA. If we look at oil, XOIL, light sweet crude. We did hold this $60 a barrel area on light sweet crude. Now we're up to $62 a barrel, trying to get back over the 10 SMA on the daily chart here. Still some work to do to get back above the 50 SMA for the XOIL. Let's look at the oil sector services, such names as Halliburton, Schlumberger, Rig. All right, those names moving up on Friday. We got a nice move up here in Schlumberger, Halliburton, holding the 200 SMA, the OIH moving up on Friday, so trying to get back over the 200 SMA here on the OIH, so nice move there. Some other ETFs and sectors, we had silver popping a little bit, but still a lot of work to do there in silver. Gold trying to get back over this 126 spot. As you can see here, we held the lows on Friday 124.78, but for me it would need to get back over 126 and the 50 SMA on the daily chart for GLD. We'll also look at the regional banks. Big move up in the regional banks. So the banking sector very strong on Friday. Next up, we'll look at the transports. All right, transports have been lagging a little bit, and as you can see, the Dow was still below the 50 SMA. The transport's still below the 50 SMA here also. So that's starting to maybe turn the corner. Let's check out a few airlines. American Airlines moving up. JetBlue moving up. DAL moving. Some of the railroads are doing very nicely. CSX above the 50 SMA. UNP, a nice move for the transport. So the transport's making a nice little comeback here. FedEx starting to turn the corner here after holding that 100 SMA on FedEx. Some other airlines, SKY, W, Sky, West, holding above the 50. One of the strongest airlines out there right now is SkyWest. So very nice move and hold here by SkyWest. So like I said, the IYT trying to get back over the 50 SMA, and the Dow Jones Industrials kind of lagging right now, but trying to get up over the 50 SMA. Some other sectors that we should take a look at. Let's look at the ag names. Still not making that big move up through 1975 area on the DBA. Some other sectors, Hack, very strong, Hack, very strong. PANW, Palo Alto Networks, a nice move. FireEye, a very nice move. FTNT has had a very nice move. They might be a little overstretched now. Let's go back to the ETF, the Hack, and you see on the RSI down here below where my pointer is, we're at 74 now, so we might be due for a little bit of a pause in that sector. Let's look at bots. This is the artificial intelligence ETF holding this 100 SMA. So we'll see if that one wants to maybe take a move up and move up above the 50 SMA there. MJ, the marijuana ETF, still below the 50 SMA currently for MJ. Robo making a nice move on Friday, also getting back above the 50 SMA. This is the automation index ETF. Best stocks for the week. Here, first one up after this earnings report for the week. Autodesk was up 20% for the week on their earnings report. Big pop in Autodesk, ADSK. AMRC, a nice move up. That stock up 30% for the week on AMRC. Next one up, we had AMTX. This stock up 95% for the week. Small little name, big pop, big volume came into AMTX, Specialty Chemicals. Sienna had earnings this week, and that stock was up 15% for the week. Next one up, we have CLSD. Big move up on CLSD as they got positive top line data in CLSD. Next one up, we had Cree with a big pop this week, up 13% on Cree. We actually did a swing trade in this one in the service, so very nice move there. DRRX had a very nice move this week, up 28% for the week. ECYT up 26% for the week. Got a couple of upgrades in ECYT this week in that name. GTHX had a big pop. Now this name was up on released positive phase 2 data. better than expected response rate for GTHX. So that one was up nicely for the week, up 36%. INNT had a big week, up 57%. ITUS up 40%. MBII up 50% for the week. Momo had earnings, and that stock climbed 14% for the week on their earnings. MU, very nice week this week, up 11% for the week. NETE, a big move up in NETE as John Nigerian, the fella from CNBC, the trader, he's going to be on the board of NETE, and this stock went up 96% on that news. Netflix, a big move this week, up 10%. NTNX continues up since its earnings release, up 26%. OGEN, up 56%. RKDA, a nice move up, 97% gainer. RXII, a big pop in RXII, up 59% for the week. SQ having a fantastic week, up 14%. STX moving up 11%. WDC up 13%. Win having a nice week, up 16%. Yelp pushing up this week, might be due to sympathy with Momo, up 6% for the week, and then big pop up 12% for the week. Some other names that had big weeks was Etsy. Maybe moving up in that sector with Yelp. So that was up 9% for the week. GRUB was also up this week, up 9% for the week. So a lot of nice moves there in the market. That's your best stocks for the news was released about the tariffs this week. We had some of the steel stocks moving down. We had AKS Steel moving down 8% for the week. We had US Steel moving down for the week 4%. They had moved up. Made some really nice moves in the weeks prior, and now they took a little bit of a break after the news was released. So some names there that were moving down. Big came out with earnings on Friday. That stock dropped 14% for the week. CANF dropped 16% for the week on CANF. They actually did an offering on CANF, so that stock was down. CI Cigna down as they're going to be buying Express Scripts, ESRX, right? That stock popped 8% for the week, but Cigna, the company buying them out, down 10% for the week on that name. We had Cliff, another one of those steel names, down about 7%. Derm took a hit, down 63% on DERM. And this stock was down. This stock failed to meet endpoints for DERM, DERM. They failed to meet endpoints in their phase 3 trial. Another one that was down was GLYC. This stock response rate endpoint did not meet expectations. So GLYC, another biotech, was down. JCPenney, a retailer, down 12% for the week. Kroger, after their earnings came out, down 12% for the week. Macy's was weak. That stock down 5% for the week. Mara moving down this week, 27%. Mattel, after Toys R Us going through liquidation, it drove Mattel down and moved Hasbro down. Mattel was down 10% for the week. Hasbro down 4% for the week, and those two names due to the Toys R Us liquidation. SNSS down 39% for the week. Their delay of outcome of data, so they delayed the outcome of their data, so that drove that stock down. SNSS. SPPI was down 13% for the week on SPPI. Next stock down, we had Target. A lot of the retailers down this week. So Target down 6%. VBLT, another biotech, 57% for the week. Trials did not meet the endpoints for VBLT. Trials did not meet the endpoints. VYGR also down 11% this week. VYGR data showed improvement phase one. The stock moved up, but then ended the week down on VYGR. So they had some positive news, but just couldn't hold those gains and then got sold off down 11% for the week. XOMA was down 20% for the week. Ag had earnings. That stock was down 18% on their earnings. Another stock that was down was Dollar Tree. That stock on their earnings down 11% for the week. And in sympathy, Dollar General was down 8% for the week. So that's some of your worst stocks for the week. So let's go ahead and look at some of the information coming out this week. Economic information. Macro information for Monday, nothing really much going on. And if you notice, not a lot of Fed speak this week at all. None that I see for Fed speak this week. As far as Tuesday economic information, consumer price index at 8:30. We have the API crude numbers coming out at 4:30 on Wednesday. We have the MBA mortgage applications at 7 o'clock. 10:30 we have the EIA petroleum status report. We also have the Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations coming out at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. For Thursday, we have the 8:30 a.m. We have the Philadelphia Fed Business Outlook. We also have initial jobless claims at 8:30, but nothing out of the ordinary for economic information coming up. Friday, industrial production at 9:15, consumer sentiment coming out at 10 o'clock. So pretty straightforward week as far as economic information. This courtesy of the Trade Exchange calendar. And as you can see, earnings season continues on. Tuesday before the bell, we have DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods. They'll be reporting Tuesday before the bell. Let's see if there's any other big companies reporting this week. Dollar General, DG will be reporting before the open on Thursday. Let's see, a lot of smaller companies. Let's see, we have Broadcom reporting after the close on Thursday. AVGO. Overstock.com will be reporting. Tiffany's on Friday. Kirkland's, Buckle, BK symbol there, Cara, CARA, Revlon, REV, Ulta, ULTA reporting after the bell there on Thursday. So not a lot of big companies reporting, but still earnings season continues on, and that's your earnings for the week ahead. Some unusual options activity that hit on Friday. CHK had unusual options activity. Oracle, ORCL, unusual options activity. AXL and NUAN. On the put side, we had CLDX and JD.com. JD symbol there for that's your unusual call and put activity. So that's it. That's your let's get ready for the week ahead. We'll keep it brief. Tariffs are behind us. So the market had a very good turnaround week for the markets that passed. Friday, a very strong day. We'll see what the market want to carry us forward in the markets. But, I'll be out with a stocks to watch list on Sunday for a Sunday video. Stocks to watch list for Monday. Everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Also hit the like button and have a great rest of your weekend. This is Mike from ZozoStockWatch.com.